everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all right. I hope you have had such a lovely Christmas and a really good new year. I spoke quite a lot on my Instagram stories literally 5 minutes ago. I promised you a YouTube video, so I immediately set up the camera and videoed. But I spoke on my YouTube story, oh my god, I spoke on my Instagram stories earlier and on an Instagram post yesterday just about the sheer amount of pregnancy announcements that there were on New Year's Day. New Year's Day really seems to be a bit of a time for it at the moment. So I don't really know why. I don't really know why New Year's Day seems to be the day that everybody is announcing at the moment. As I said on my stories earlier, clearly everybody gets really horny around the end of September, early October. But yeah, I don't know why. Maybe Christmas became too generic and everybody's gone for New Year now, but now everybody's doing it. I've kind of learnt to expect it now on New Year's Day. Like New Year's Day now, it's a bit of, okay, who's gonna announce they're pregnant today? And it's a bit of a guessing game. And yeah, there were a few, but yeah, so it's a bit of a guessing game for sure. Anyway, if you have been affected by that and you do, I sounded like I was going to go into it, like, you know, at the end of EastEnders, and they're like, if you have been affected by the things that you have heard in today's episode, then yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. I can't remember what I was saying, but yeah, there were a lot of pregnancy announcements yesterday, and I understand it can be really hard and it can be really triggering and it can be really upsetting, and those feelings of hurt and jealousy and sadness that you feel are completely and utterly valid. You are not on your own with that. New Year's Day, I find the absolute hardest in terms of pregnancy announcements. I'm just kind of repeating what I said on my stories here, so if you did watch that, I do apologise. But like I say, I find New Year's Day really hard in terms of pregnancy announcements. Mainly, I think, because it marks the anniversary of when we first started trying. So New Year's Day for me yesterday was 7 years since I came off the pill, so it's been a really long time for us. So I find that quite difficult. It's also, I think, the symbolism of like moving into a new year. I find that a lot more triggering than Christmas. I don't really find Christmas particularly triggering anymore. So yeah, I think it's definitely a difficult time, I think, for a lot of people when these announcements are like rife and they are there and they are really happening. I think I saw 5 yesterday, which was mad, and I think that was even before 11 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, if you are impacted by that at all, then I am sending you all the love in the world and really hope you're okay. Today's video, I am going to go through with you my IVF protocol for cycle 3. My medication has been delivered. As I've said numerous times, I am kind of going to film things delayed this time. There isn't necessarily going to be, it's not going to be kind of as we go. Everything is going to be a little bit delayed. However, this is something that I get asked a lot because I've spoken about my protocol. My protocol was obviously decided when we had our first consultation with our clinic a little while ago. It's a lot more full on than my last protocol. If you've been here a little while, you'll know that with my last 2 cycles, we had quite a basic like shoebox IVF type thing. The medication wasn't a particularly high dosage, and this isn't the highest dosage ever. Like, I know people who have had it a lot more than I have, but for me this is quite a full-on protocol. So there's a lot of mixed emotions around that. I'm a little bit nervous because it's medication that I've not done before. Literally, I don't think I've done any of it before, so a little bit nervous about that. I'm also on blood thinners this time because it has come to light that I do have a family history of blood clotting that I didn't know about, and I had a blood test to kind of confirm this, that and the other, and they decided that I needed them. So I thought I'd kind of just go through the protocol with you so you can see the medication that I'm on, explain roughly what they're for. Like I say, I don't really know myself. Like a lot of it is kind of my understanding of it is simply from Google, and obviously the nurse is telling me, but I don't know the ins and outs of it as such. This is an NHS funded cycle, so I can't answer kind of how much it is and where to get the medication from. Previously, when we have gone privately, we have got ours from, I want to say Fertility to You, but that might be wrong. But that's who we were getting it through when we went to Greece. But a lot of people say about Asda being quite cheap and possibly Tesco. But I do think when you do go privately, it is always worth shopping around. I do know that a couple of the medication that I'm on is really expensive. But like I say, we've been really lucky in that, because Cambridgeshire and Peterborough reinstated IVF, that we have qualified for this cycle to be on the NHS. So I will go through this medication with you. I will kind of tell you what my protocol is, and yeah, then you know. So I hope you're all right. Like I said, I hope you had a lovely Christmas, and yeah, let's crack on. So my protocol this time, previously, I have started injecting on cycle day 2. So I would come on my period, and if it was before 12 o'clock, it would then be the next day. If it was after 12 o'clock, then it would be the day after. So they kind of class day 1 as the first full cycle. It all depends on how heavy your flow is. So the very first thing that I will do is I will contact the clinic and I will book in my first baseline scan, which I will have on day 3 of my cycle. Then they will give me the okay as to whether or not I can start injecting, and that should then be that night. So for those injections, so the stims, if you like, so the things that kind of make my ovaries and my follicles all nice and juicy and make sure that I have more eggs, I am doing Fostamon and Meriofert. So it's these. So I will do, every injection, I will do 2 lots of Fostamon, if that's going to focus, probably not. 2 lots of Fostamon and 1 lot of Meriofert. So I think it works out at about 225 IU. So yeah, it's a powder which I will mix. So I will mix both of them and inject that, and I will do that every evening. And also on day 3, I will also start the Anixa, which are blood thinning injections, and like I say, it just reduces my chances of clot. Does that have my address on it? No, we're safe. Yeah, we're safe, sorry. But yeah, so that just makes sure that I don't have any blood clots during the process, because like I say, unfortunately, I do have a family history of that. The blood thinners do mean that I will bruise an awful lot, so my stomach is probably going to look like a mouldy fruit bowl by the end of it. But like I say, I would take that over a blood clot any day. So yeah, so I imagine that I will bruise quite a lot, but it is what it is. Obviously, I've just got to be careful, because if I cut myself or anything like that, I will bleed a lot more. But yeah, so Meriofert, I think, is it's really similar to Menopur, which I've done before. But I think it's something to do with the proteins, I think, that are different. And yeah, somebody told me it's very expensive, but Pharmashore, by the way, is where mine have come from. But yeah, so I'm interested to see how I react to those, because I've not done Fostamon or Meriofert before. I've only ever done Bemfola or Menopur. So yeah, that'll definitely be interesting. And then I have forgotten to get it out the fridge, but the following, so on about day 6, I will then start Cetrotide. Cetrotide is what I have done before. Cetrotide is another injection. It's another one where you have to mix the powder and pull it out, but Cetrotide will stop me from ovulating naturally. So I will do these for a few days and then introduce Cetrotide, which I will then do in the morning. So all it does is make sure that all the eggs that I've got don't release by themselves, which is great, because that's the last thing we want. I will have about 3 baseline scans, so I think I have one on like day 3, day 6 and day 9, let's say, for argument's sake. And then they will decide whether or not I am ready to trigger. So to trigger, I believe, let me just again check that this hasn't got my address on it. Yeah. To trigger, I will be doing a double trigger, I believe, and I will be doing Buserelin, which I've never done before, and Gonzai, I believe it's called. Yeah, there we go. Is that gonna focus? Prob's not. No. There we go. So I will be doing 2, I think. I don't know, I can only assume that's why I've been sent 2. But I do that kind of 36 hours before egg collection. So it's the last injection that you do, and I will do that trigger injection, which I think kind of forces you to ovulate, ready for when you have your egg collection. So that's that. So that's what I'll be doing. But like I say, 36 hours after that, I will have my egg collection, which hopefully I'll have lots of nice eggs and I won't be overstimulated or anything like that, and it will all go swimmingly and everything will fertilise. And then they will tell us how many eggs we've got, how many eggs, that's obviously when Marco comes in and Marco does his job. They will tell us how many have fertilised. And then every other day we will get an update until day 5. Yeah, so then hopefully on day 5 we will have the transfer. Once I've had the egg collection, oh hi Bruce. Bruce has decided to come for a cuddle. Okay. Once I've had the egg collection, I will have to take, I have got a course of antibiotics that I'll need to take, and also a pessary that I will need to put in my bum, which basically stops me from getting any kind of infection. That's one thing that I have to say about this clinic. They have been so hot on things like that. So I had a 3D SIS, so it was basically just an internal scan, 3D scan, just to make sure that everything looked the way it should be, to make sure that there were no fibroids or cysts or polyps or anything like that, and they also did a dummy transfer. Everything was fine, but again, I had to do the same again. I had to do the antibiotics and the pessary to make sure that there were no infections whatsoever. And the same with the endometrial scratch. They were really, really good. So I will do another video about the endometrial scratch because it was something I was really unsure of. So I will do a video solely about that for you. Anyway, once I've had the egg collection, I will start on my progesterone. So progesterone is effectively a hormone that your body should produce when you fall pregnant. Obviously, if you're not falling pregnant naturally and you're going through IVF, your body isn't going to produce the progesterone. So they have to do it artificially. Beforehand, my progesterone has quite literally been a vaginal pessary that you put in 3 times a day, and if it works, you continue that through to about 12 weeks. This time I've got 3 different kinds of progesterone. They're really, really hot with that, so that's really, really good, and I'm actually really happy about it. So the first thing that I'll be taking is Progynova, which is this box, which is an oral tablet. So I will be taking Progynova orally for progesterone. I will also be doing, rather than a vaginal pessary, I'll be doing a vaginal gel. So this is Cyclogest. No, it's not. It's not Cyclogest at all. It's Crinone. No idea how you say it, but it's a gel. So again, I don't know if you've ever done, like if you get bacterial vaginosis, I can't think what it's called. Oh my God, it's on the tip of my tongue. It begins with a C, Caniston. They do a vaginal gel. So I imagine it's really similar to that, and you quite literally pop it up. And yeah, you'll need to wear a panty liner and things like that, but I would rather that than the actual pessary, as I tend to get quite irritated by that. I don't really like it. But also I then have Lentigest. So Lentigest is an injection form of progesterone. So I believe I do that in my bum. Pretty sure, not like in my bum, but in the bum cheek. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's how I do it. It's definitely an injection, but I can't remember whether I do it in my stomach or in my bum. But they did say about one being in my bum, so that is that. And then, like I say, if it works, I'll be on that for about 12 weeks. So that is my protocol. So like you can see, there's a lot there. All in all, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 different injections all in all. Including the trigger and the blood thinners and the progesterone and obviously the stims. So there's a lot there. So it is a lot more full on than my last cycle. But I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know if looking forward to it is the right word, but I do feel really positive this time, and I feel really positive about this protocol. They've really listened to us. They've really taken into consideration our previous cycles. They haven't just put us on any old medication. And I don't know, I feel a lot more confident. I feel a lot more confident this time. I feel really confident in the fact that obviously they did the 3D scan, that they've done the dummy transfer, that they've done the endometrial scratch. So they seem to be covering all bases with this cycle, which I'm really, really happy about. So yeah, so that's my protocol. So it's not the longest video in the world, like I said. So there will be weekly videos now going forward. Next week I will probably talk to you about the endometrial scratch, and I will take it from there. But there will be so many vlogs covering different points of the IVF process. I'm really excited to share this cycle with you. I hope that you find it useful. I hope that it works, and that I can end this whole series of IVF vlogs with some good news, but you know, we will see. Hopefully it will be a very good spring, but maybe not. We will see. Do make sure that you've subscribed if you haven't already. I would really, really appreciate the support. I'm really close to 1,000 subscribers, which is great, so thank you if you've been here for a little while. You can find me on Instagram at amber.itso, and also you can listen to my podcast with my lovely co-host Annabelle. You can listen to that on any podcast platform, Apple Podcast, Spotify. It's Am I Ovary Acting, ovary being an ovary, so Am I Ovary Acting. And yeah, I will see you next Sunday for another video, and I will see you during the week on Instagram. Series 2 of the podcast does start on Friday, so yeah, busy week. But yeah, Happy New Year, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.